Mari acerca del futuro de la industria 4.0, la digitalización, la IA y las robóticas en el mercado. Mr. Kai, I think we can get started on the presentation.
Okay. Buenos días todos. Es un placer para mí estar con ustedes hoy. Bienvenidos a mi presentación sobre Industrias 4.0 en la mañana para tú y para mí es en la tarde a las 5 en Alemania. Vamos a hablar sobre mis experiencias en el mundo de tecnología, Industria 4.0. Yo probé un poco en español, pero días yo move a inglés. Perdón para este. Un poco sobre mi personalidad. Me llamo Kai-Olaf. Soy un ingeniero mecánico de corazón. Es mi pasión. Desde 40 años trabajar con consultor en 35 años y desde 3 años fundador de mi own propiedad, das LUIS. Llamo sobre el nombre de nuestro Land Rover. Mira, con este Land Rover, mi esposa y yo vamos de Alaska a Tierra del Fuego 22 y 23 y visitar TECSUP para primera vez y Miguel invitado a una presentación primera vez. Fotos, un poco algunas fotos sobre mi familia y mis intereses. Y sí, soy un mechanical engineer y muy interesado en industria, tecnología y industria 4.0. Now I will switch to English and I would like to share with you my fundamental thoughts about the industry and the industry in the future. And of course, technology, you may know it, and I saw that you are working with that very good. And I was really impressed at your university, how far you are and what you are doing. So that was really impressive for me. So technology we have, and we will develop it further. That's no question. And I also sure we have plenty of ideas what we will do, and we will have more ideas in the future. There's one topic, it comes up, this is business models. I personally believe we also must work on that. We will generate new business models for our industry, and we'll come to that later. And there's one very important topic. We need boldness. We need that for implementation because it's not easy. It will not be easy, and you know it at the university, and I know it from my personal. I will show you that later. At the university, it's really nice, and you can experiment with a lot of things. But overall, in the reality, in the industries, in the fabrics, at the customer, it's not so easy. There are a lot of hurdles. I will come to that later. Can we say no? Do we have a chance to say no digitalization? No, we don't have to. We can't say that. We have to invent to the future. And I personally know smart factory is fun. You can have a lot of fun, and you have to enjoy it. So let's enjoy the presentation today. Disfruten. A short overview about my agenda. So I will a little bit explain why it's so important. I already started with that. Then I will talk a little bit about technology and what is driving the process. And I will especially go on artificial intelligence and robots. Then I will talk about people. That's for me one of the most important things. What role will people play in the future? Business models, I already shared this with you. I think we should talk about that. And then how we can transform the business. And at the end, some words about conclusions, and these all answers, I would say, let us do it at the end. I started with robots and simulation. That's some pictures out of my master degrees in '88. It's really funny. I could take this out, and it's really funny to remember what you did in your career. So during my time in the university, we are thinking about how we can assemble a car without humans. That was a question at that time. And this is my part was how we can assemble the dashboard into the car. And there you see that was the technology in that time, our simulation tool, how we simulate how we can implement or install the dashboard. You see it here into the body without any collision. It was very difficult in that time because you don't have a full picture, you only have lines, and it was very hard to find out that it's really not a collision, so the way of the robot is correctly, and then we can test it in reality. You see here the body, it's a former BMW 3 Series, and we really tested with that robot. You can see it here. We test the assembly of the dashboard into the car. So I stepping into that business very early in my career during my study, and it was always very exciting for me. And for me, it was the technology. It's very important, but I learned during my career the question how to implement it and how you make it feasible and run the business with that. That is for me one of the biggest questions, and that's also the reason why I'm working since that time mainly in consulting. But coming back to the question of today, why this topic is so important. And in reality, Industry 4.0 isn't the future, honestly. It's deciding right now, today, who will be here in that business in 10 years. If you are not doing it, you will not be successful and you will not succeed in the future. So it's not a question of can we do it, should we do it, or maybe. It's a question you have to do it. And the problem is not the lack of technology. The problem is that other is using technology maybe faster, more cleverly, and earlier, and all the topics. So we are in a really big competition. And I have seen very impressed that you are working very seriously on that topic. And I was really impressed what I have seen. The definition of Industry 4.0 is now, I checked it already, it's now 2011. So over 15 years ago, they come out with that. So it's still an ongoing process. And let me say it's a very old concept. So I would say maybe it's now Industry 4.0 plus. It was coming out of some project, and Henning Kagermann, the former CEO of SAP, was stating that out. I extend this a little bit. I believe really it will revolutionize our today's industry. We will have in some years a complete different way of production, a complete different way of how we're doing production, who is doing production, and so on and so on. Especially because of the upcoming technology of artificial intelligence and the increasing technology of robotics. Will we have in the future a plant completely out of workers? I personally believe in that. And I think this future will be coming up faster than we believe. But we can discuss this later. If I'm too fast, please stop me and then I can talk a little bit slower. I will try to do it. Coming to the technology. I think that's common for you. The technology are driven by 4 mainly layers. So we have the intelligence at the machine side. So the PLC layer with all the machine managing tools and control motors and all the activities, actors. This is the intelligence of the machine. This is the lowest layer directly on the ground. Then we have a supervisory and visualization layer across machine, maybe some product lines, where we have combined some PLCs together and can manage it and manage the process, make the process visible, controllable for the people. That's the SCADA supervisory level and layer. And then we have the manufacturing execution layer. This is operation and orchestration of the plant on the shop floor level. Detailed scheduling, detailed quality management, tracking and tracing of each of the work orders, resource management, very detailed. You can call it at the central nervous system of production. And on the top, we have the enterprise level, we have the ERP systems, SAP, Microsoft Dynamics, and others. This is the strategic economic layer. And between all that, we have a data flow. I will come to that later. Why I stated this again out here, because the layers are clear. It's a very structured way to describe production. The question in project is always on which detail each layer is going. So the borders between the layers. And this is depending on several questions. In several cases, on the type of production, of the type of planning, on the quality of the people, so what capabilities they have. And this is always a very serious discussion in projects. Which system layer is responsible for what? And especially between the ERP and the MES layer, there are always going on discussions how deep the ERP is going and what is doing by the ERP, what is doing by the MES and so on. It's very serious and you have to think about it, and you have to define this. But on the other hand, you also have to be open that you can change the boundaries and you can move it slightly deeper or on a higher level, so that you can be flexible and adjust your production and your way of production always to the new situation and the new requirements. The same is what we have learned with the connection, with the integration of the different layers. In my career, I learned coming out of the past, let me say like that. I defined several of interfaces together with my colleagues between the different systems in the layers. So the MES layer with the SCADA layer and the ERP interfaces, and it was always point-to-point interfaces. And when you are ready and you implemented it, and then you already realized that it's changing, that you have add data fields, that you have do something different, that you have to increase the speed of data exchange, and so on and so on. So it was always a hard work and a lot of things to do. And then it comes up, and that's the world today that we are discussing about middleware, so software that are doing the integration, that we are talking about cloud. And this is now the normal way that we integrate the layers via middleware and cloud solutions. But what is also reality, we not have only one cloud. We have several clouds. For example, the ERP layer maybe have a different cloud. And also the MAS has a different cloud. And maybe for the SCADA, you need a different layer to manage it. And so we are coming in the situation that we have to manage several clouds. And also when we are coming to the situation that we are doing business across our own company, so that we are doing business with partners, I will come to that later. So in the future, we have to integrate multiple clouds, multiple solutions, multiple layers, and we have to find the right technology to make it easy handleable and adjustable. And the same we have on the data layer or the datas. We have when I'm starting the career, on each level, each system has its own database or own data storage. All are different solutions, and you are connecting them point by point and so on. Now we have increasing the data into more data warehouses, bigger data storage types, modern storage type. For example, SAP come up with a new storage managing tool called HANA. It's a new database logic. So we are increasing our capabilities on that levels, but still we have the discussion that we have now coming up to structured and unstructured data, and we have to discuss on which level we store the data. For example, in several cases, it is necessary to have the data on the PLC, on the machine directly. And in other cases, it makes sense to have the data in one level in the cloud, and every system is connected with that data storage, or how we call it in the future, data lakes. Data lakes are able to manage all data and can also manage structured and unstructured data. But back to the question on the edge or cloud storage. You can let me make it easy. All the data, what you know for activities, you need a very fast decision. You need the data on site at the machine, at the robot. And if you have a little bit more time to collect the data, then you can put them into the data cloud data lake. Let me say an example, or give you an example from us as humans. We all can today collect every data out of Google, out of the cloud. We have all our smartphones. We can immediately, when we get a question, we don't need a book. We can go to our phone. We can ask an AI. We can ask Google. We can ask everyone. And we get a very good answer. And we don't need a memory in our mind. We don't need it anymore. But, for example, if you are in a quiz, then you can't go directly to the cloud or what else. Then you have it in your mind. Or, for example, if you are in a let me say in a difficult situation where you have to decide it is serious or maybe it's a little bit dangerous, there you don't have time to check if it's in Google available, can I check this, and so on. You have to have it in your mind. And it's the same what is with the machines and all that. If you, for example, for a human robot who is walking, you need all the data on the side of the robot, because he has to act balancing his walk directly out of the data of his own storage. He can't wait for answers out of the cloud. And so this may give you a good example about the decision on which level you can store the data in the cloud or in a data lake, and on which level you have to store it directly in the machine on the PLC level, and so on. Oh, I recognize, sorry, that there are some German words in it. I didn't translate. I will do it later on. I'm sorry for that. Okay, go ahead. So I think personal, the real added value of Industry 4.0 and the tools of this are the integration of the tools. So they have to work integrated across all levels, with all the real-time data from all stakeholders and participants. You have to generate transparency across all activities and integration across all actors. It makes no sense to have only on the machine level all the intelligent. It makes no sense to have a very intelligent ERP and not a vertical integration, for example, with a machine. And also the horizontal integration across sites and partners. Let me give you an example for a good vertical integration. If the machine is running into an issue, so you have to do maintenance, then it's really good if you can give this information directly to the ERP via the MAS and the ERP, and then doing a reschedule of your day plan and doing, let me say, a new production planning, maybe informing the customers, and so on and so on. Currently, in many cases, it's a very hard manual work because the information is there, but the activities are not really, let me say, designed and available in the tool. So there is still today in the ERP level, for example, a lot of manual work, and this could be enhanced by a better vertical integration. And later on, I will come to that also with AI solutions and so on. And the same with a horizontal integration. For example, if you have a situation that supplier inform you that he will not deliver today because of traffic jam or something else, then it's good you get this information directly from this partner via a horizontal integration in your systems, and you are able to do a replanning in your systems immediately, starting in the ERP, and then maybe also to replan the production schedule in the MAS system. So this means horizontal and vertical integration of everything is the key for Industry 4.0. If we want to really run this, then we need the integration and especially breaking down data silos. And that's not very easy. And I have a very, very good example. This from I like this example because it shows really what is possible and what you can do also across company boundaries. And this is coming up from the agriculture industry. There is a solution called Data Connect. It's a solution coming up from Glass, John Deere, CNH, and the company 365 FarmNet. And they have created multi-manufacturer industry opens cloud solution, and you can really see everything on one dashboard across all your machines, different producer difference from everyone, so you can see it, and it's really interesting. I like this. And I have a friend, he is working with that. He has a big farm in Germany, and he is working with that really very intensively and is saving him directly money. He know every second where his machine is, what the machine is doing, how the machine conditions are, how much they are sawing, how much they are bringing out agriculture supportive pieces, chemicals, and so on. And in parallel, they save the environment because you don't need so much. And he is really happy to work with that, and it saves him a lot of money. And this, for me, this is a very good example, especially because it's across company boundaries. I put you the connection to that, so you can find the connection to that. So coming up to the next step of Industry 4.0, I think that's driven by AI, and on the other hand, later on by I will explain how robots are driving that. In my point of view, AI will not be a separate layer. It will be included in every of the layer. On each level, you will use AI, so the machine will be more intelligent, the ERP will be more intelligent, the MES system will be more intelligent, and you really will reduce the manual involvement of humans because of many of the activities can be run via AI directly. I will give you an example from a quality point of view. For example, if you have a quality issue on the machine, you realize that the quality of the product by direct inspection at the machine side, it's going down. Then you can immediately act on the machine level without any human influence. What happens? Well, maybe I have to reduce the speed. Maybe I have to spend more oil for cooling. Maybe I have to change the tool. This can be decided by the machine itself, and then she can act itself, can maybe replace the tool, can use a different tool, can increase the oil cooling, and so on and so on. So that can run by the system themselves without any human impact, without any human influence. That's for me let me say, the impact of AI, and this is also of every level. You can also do the planning much more intelligent. At the moment, the normal planning solutions in every ERP system is restricted. So there are always restrictions, and it's not perfect. With AI, you can increase the level of planning performance and also the replanning. So the action regarding any impacts, you can increase this immediately by using of AI solutions. And the ERP providers are working very hardly on that. So it's not, again, this is not future, this is today business, and the development will be tremendously. I personally believe, and I know that you also using that day by day, and I personally also believe AI, we are in the beginning, so we are not at the end, we are in the beginning of the journey. I want to go a little bit in the past. I explained to you that I was working 86 in Moto Peru, and you can see there that the body shop, you see there manual welding at this time, and at the same time in Wolfsburg at the main plant of Volkswagen, the plant 54 it was called, was the first plant where the robots are implemented and they take over the body shop. In that time, it was completely new. This is a picture out of a newspaper of this, and there is a question: where are the people? Question mark. And today you see a picture out of the body shop. That's robots everywhere, less humans. The body shop is really highly automated. But the future will be that we have a really collaboration between the automation tools. So the standard robots, you see there, the orange ones, and the new robots, the human robots who are acting like humans in the fabric. And I think this will come in the next 10 years, this will be normal. I put always the connection to the picture so that you can see where I get it and can read a little bit more. The picture below is from a Beijing conference about the future of the human-machine interaction. And I also put there a small YouTube video. I'm sorry, it's in German, from the Fraunhofer Institute about the future roboting. And you see, it's only, it's now 60 years, no, 50 years, no, 40 years, sorry, 40 years ahead from the first beginning. And we are today on that robots are normal, and it will not take that long time to have this picture on the right side. And again, here I put some examples into that so that you can see. But you have already seen the picture on the slide before. We will come to that the human robots will replace the humans in the fabric and will take over activities. First time maybe heavy activities, later time-consuming or repeating activities, and step by step, everything that we have then a complete dark fabric plant without any humans in it, and only robots are working in and doing also, I personally believe in that, also doing the maintenance and the support in the production side. Coming back to the big picture, and you see we will have in the future, we will have two worlds. We will have a virtual world, the idea world, and we will have on the right side the real world. And on both worlds, for example, we will have AI. The AI will support in the ideal world, in the virtual world, all systems they are running by supporting by intelligence. And also we will have robot processes in ERP systems so that we will have also robotics in it. And on the machine level, on the real world, we also have AI in the machines, in the robots. We will have this in each level. And the interesting what I'm finding out is that this picture was designed from a Greek philosopher living 2,500 years ago in Greek, who founded the idea that reality is only a reflection on the idea. So he defined this picture. You can see it in books about the Greek philosophy, that he designed this picture that is an ideal world and a real world. And in Industry 4.0, in the future, it becomes this technical reality. In the cloud, in the idea is defined, and in the production, we implement it in reality. Anderson, Acosta, you have a question?
And I think he just was saying like, okay, thumbs up.
Okay. So I move ahead. Yeah. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
We can answer your questions later, I think.
Okay. Okay. What will be the impact of the people? And this is, I think, what I told you before. That's you. I personally, I really believe you know this, and you are maybe much more experienced than I. So this is for you maybe common sense. But the big question is, what is the future role of the people, and what is the impact into our project, in our implementation. In the past, we have, and we have still today, we have the operator, we have the implementer, we have the worker on site. But more and more, we replace the worker on site and by machines plus decision maker and coordinator. In the future, we will go ahead, we will also replace this level by AI, by systems, by robots, by everything. And so in the future, we will have more a collaboration between humans and the AI and systems and so on. And maybe in the vision, it will be redundant. So we don't need humans. The problem is technology you can buy, systems you can implement, but people you have to get on board. And you need people because they have the knowledge. You need it today for implementing. There are very critical success factors in that projects. On a technical point of view and integration, I think we agree it's manageable, you can do it. But on the people side, on the knowledge side, it is very, very difficult. What we need is a very early involvement of the people, and for sure a very honest communication with them. We have to explain what happens and what's coming up. I will come to that later. What we also can see is very often that we have a very technology-focused strategy. We try to implementing a few systems and not recognizing that we have to have people there, that we have to maybe to understand what they are doing, that we implement the right tools, that we step into the right problem areas. And the outcome of that is lack of acceptance, and maybe we don't break down the silo thinking, and very often we have the lack of accountability. And so in the at the end, we have to realize the implementation and the advantage of Industry 4.0. It comes not from the technology alone, but it comes from the ability to use it in a meaningful way, in a very good way, implement it in a very efficient way, and to make it as a really success factors to our company. And therefore, we need the people. And this is big question to that is the real challenge in project like that the people, the employees, the knowledgeables, the key factors in the implementation may ultimately become redundant at the end of the project. I personally have had this very often. I have worked with people, they told me at the end of this project, I don't have a workplace anymore because we replace the workplace. And this is very hard to motivate them, to get them into the team, to give them an opportunity and explain it is necessary that they are work with us, because it's maybe not for them the best way, but for the future of the company, for the future of their children, it is important that we are doing this, making this company more efficient, implementing new technology, and gave the company a future. And if we are not doing that, the company definitely will not have a future. I talked with you, I told you also about the changing of the, let me say, of the landscape of the network of actors in the network by digitalization, by transforming into Industry 4.0. I will show this you on a concrete example and explain to you. What has happened, and that's the challenge, we bring in new, let me say, new partners, new networks, new player into the market. For example, in the past, we don't have a cloud provider in our network. We have some software providers and so on, but now we have a maybe Amazon or Google or Microsoft or other cloud providers we have into the party, and they play a role, and they have maybe a different understanding, a different positioning, and so on and so on. We are running from make or buy decisions, and we have the problem that we have to select our own capabilities. It is worse to do it by ourselves, or can we take for that an external partner? Very objective or very important is that we explore ourselves, our company, our own position in the network. I will show this in the next slide. And okay, stop the. Okay, so that we have to analyze, and I will show this on an example. This is the existing world what we have. We have on the one side the manufacturers, the OEM. They are producing machines like DMG Mori or others. They use software. They have maybe a little bit other supplier hardware in it, and they sell it to the plant. The plant has more machines, not only one. They will have also an integration with their logistic activities, with their logistic tools. They have a MES system, and maybe they have an external warehouse or an external logistic provider. This is a very easy world. And now we increase this by technology. We are coming up with digital twins of the machine. So we build up a virtual plant. Who is owning the virtual plant? We have cloud providers where maybe he's owning the data of the virtual plant. We have, again, external logistics. We have maybe independent software solutions we need, and so on, so on. So, and in this network, now it comes really to the decision who is managing that. For example, who is doing the virtual plant? It is supported by the customer on the plant side, so is doing that by the plant. Is he doing that, or is he outsourcing this and doing this by another one? Who is owning the digital twins? Who is acting in the digital twins? This is especially a very important question for small companies. And at the end, it may come to that there is a network operator coming into the game and saying, okay, I'm doing that all for you. I do all the integration. I do all the maybe also the manufacturing of the products, because you don't need the machine by yourself. You can outsource also the production to me. I can monitor all for you. I can monitor the process flows. I can collect all the data, and so on and so on. And this is a serious question coming out of implementing new technology and with new partners, new things about that. And you have seen this also in the example by the John Deere class example. So it's also then a neutral partner who is providing the network. The network is providing by the company 365 FarmNet. They are doing the network operation. This is coming to what is going on with Industry 4.0, and there are, for me, two ways. There is one way, I call it optimization. So we can, using Industry 4.0, by all the tools and technologies, we can optimize our internal processes. We can create digital workplaces. We can make more transparency. We can maybe work with less scratch material and so on. We can integrate our partners in the network. We can more working across company borders and so on and so on. That's the optimization way. But in the same step, we also can create new. We can create new services. We can create new business models. I will give you two examples. You can enhance your own product, your machine, by a new service called maintenance and support. Very, very basic. HP, it's our printer provider. He is selling the printer, but he's also selling a cartridge service. So I don't have to take care about new cartridges and so on. So HP is doing that for me. So they are calling, sending me automatically when the new cartridge, and the good thing is also they take back the old cartridge, so I don't have also in case with the environment. And I pay for that. It's maybe a little bit more expensive, but it's increasing my, let me say, my comfort and my service quality, and also my customer relationship. So I'm more connected to HP than before. And this is really good for me. But you can step ahead one business more. You can really create new business models. I give you an example. I put it there. For example, the German company Käser, they produce air compression compressors, and they created a new business model that you're not paying for a machine, that you are not paying for additional service. No, you consume compressed air by demand. So you pay only for the compressed air what you consume. It's a complete new business model, and they have this as a complete new product into their portfolio. And this is a complete new business model. What you have to check very seriously, where you are and how big is the impact of this transformation to your company. So you have really to do a maturity assessment by yourself, how mature you are for a transformation. And on the other hand, you have to assess what is the impact, for example, of a digital optimization to myself, to the company, and what is possible to realize, and maybe what's not possible because I'm not ready. And especially also when to do digital transformation. For sure, we worked with the company Käser, and this was a big transformation for the company. It took some years to make them ready for this new business model. Now, some few words about the implementation. I will do it very fast because I'm watching my time. I'm a little bit too slow, but I will go ahead the slides and then come to a conclusion. So, sorry. Starting with that, so implementing that. Of course, we have to be brave, and we can believe in ourselves, because we all have ideas. We all are designers. We are creative. We have to do it because we do it every day. In our houses, we design our living room, we design our way of working, our way of living, that we are also doing. So we can also do in our business. We can create new ideas, new solutions. We are able to do that. And a very good methodology for that is design thinking. I like this very much because it's generate very fast ideas, and you can test the idea, prototype the ideas, and then you can, if it's not working, you can start with a new with others. So it means understand the situation, observe what is possible, define a point of view, ideate, meaning generate ideas, think about out of the box, very brave, don't stop yourself, prototype the idea, test it, and come to the conclusion, works or works not, and start again. And this is really very successful, very pragmatic. You can do with everyone when you follow some, let me say, some rules and some guidance I would like to give you. There's always an external influence and an internal influence and obstacles, and you have to think about that. I will take out two things. One thing is the lack of confidence in the management and the willingness of change. Very often we start project by saying, okay, we have to do it. Everyone is doing Industry 4.0. Now we do it also. That's not willingness. This is only me too, and I follow you and I do it, but it's not the brave heart and not the really way forward. And the second thing is, at the moment, I don't know how it's in Peru, but I think you also, under economical pressure, many companies at the moment are struggling, don't have the money to do big projects, and you have to come to a very smart way to do optimization and move forward, and on the other hand, save money and save your company. And there are two or some things you can. I learned it's very helpful. One is the problem. What you have is very often that IT, so information technology, myself and maybe also you, we speak with a different language than the workers. In many cases, they don't understand us, and in many cases, they are also not able to communicate this to us. They are overcome and they are maybe too shy or something else. And this is very critical, because we need from them the ideas, the reality. We need the real world. And therefore, it's a very good workshop concept that you bring all together and that you start to learn first, using the right word, understand each other, understand what they are doing, go into the plant, see how they are working, and really understand the reality. Step out of the ideal world and go into the reality. Second thing is also you can do this also by systems. So data process mining is one of the successful tools I have seen. Go into the system and see the real world. In many cases, the people explain to you, especially the IT people explain to you, yeah, the system is like working like that, and this is doing like that and that and that, and the people is working that process. And then reality, people working different. They have created something different way. They are they are working different. That you have to find out. And therefore, there's a lot of tools in the market. Data mining is, I think, one of the biggest topics in the place. And I already talked about that maturity and capability assessment. Be honest to yourself. It's good to be a brave-hearted guy, but on the other hand, you always have to look what is real possible, what you can achieve, and do the steps in a realistic way. And by that, I'm coming to the conclusion, I'm coming to the end. Today, I could say, with all the technology, data, and controls, the industry is connected, but not yet really autonomous. And that will be the future. The future will be that we have an industry will operate autonomously and will generate complete new business models. And that's why I believe our industry will be in the future complete different, and we will see it. I hopefully will see it, and I definitely know that you will see it. Thank you very much. Here are some my contact data. So please feel free to contact me to ask and come back to me. And I would be really happy if you need also to work in a foreign country. If I can support you, please contact me if you want. It was for me in that time, it was in Peru, it was a big experience. I was very happy that people invited me and that was able to come to Peru. I didn't have much money, and it was supported by many people, and I'm really happy that I was able to do that. And if you want to come to Europe, if you need some support, please let me know. We will find a solution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kai. Could we do a little round of questions for
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
10
yeah.
minutes? Yeah, I'm gonna ask them and I'm gonna translate for you what they ask. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Ok. Chicos, los que quieran hacer alguna pregunta, por favor levanten su mano y yo le digo acá al ingeniero Olaf lo que quieran hacer. Sí, Alonso, un momento. Ahí está. ¿Puedes realizar tu pregunta?
Die beste Land für zum Beispiel Industry Researchieren oder Digital Transformation?
What you asking? I didn't get you.
I ask if Germany, Deutschland, is
Yeah.
the best country, the best country for. Is it okay if I ask it in German? Like I am.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Ist Deutschland die beste Land, oder für Data Transformation und Industry? Technology.
Honestly, I'm not. I don't like to blame about my own country. So we have, let me say, we have all the opportunities, but we are doing very often too much questions about it is possible, can we do it? And at the moment we are stuck a little bit in our successful history. I learned in several countries they are much more ahead, moving faster, developing faster, and we have great ideas, but at the moment we are too restrictive in many, because of many cases. So that's also a problem of the society, too restrictive in creating new ideas and stepping into. Yeah, maybe we are in several cases too conservative, honestly.
But it's still a great place, right? I have heard things like Germany is great and those things.
Yeah, you are right. You are right. We are great, and I'm proud of my country. But in a competition, we have to, let me say, we have to step in a different way of working. In many cases, we are asking what is the dangers of the situation, and we are not asking what can this bring for us. So that's a little bit our, and I'm coming out of a project. There was very often the question why we can work as we worked in the past. It was very successful. Why we have to move? And this question is bringing us not in the future. Future is what we can do different and maybe change completely. Why we have to work like we worked in the past? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. So, yeah, we have a lot of good ideas. We have a lot of good companies, but we also have. We are not the best. Let me be honest.
Okay, thank you.
From the let me one comment to that. From the university side, we are really very good. My wife is working on the technical university in Munich. She knows, and I knows from her, we are very good in the universities. We are very good in exploring new ideas. We are a little bit struggling with the transformation, with the takeover into the industry. So.
Okay, I think there's one more question here.
Yeah.
And in the chat too. So I'm gonna read that one and Tendone.
I can't see the chat, so
Yes.
I'm.
Yeah, I can read for you.
Okay.
So, one moment, please. Please.
Check how I can see this.
Enio Girón dice, says, thank you for the information. I would like to ask you for recommendations on applying augmented reality and digital digital twins for process control and monitoring. Thank you.
So you mean how you will implement digital twins and how you will manage this?